It's a genuine GT, silver. That's the original colour of the car. It's a Y304. Bought it in 92, 93, late 92, just as we got married. So what's that, 26, 27 years now? Yeah.
And it was a driving car?
Yeah, perfect, unmolested, original car. I guess by today's standards, oh my God, but when I bought it, you know, really we were buying them in those days because they had a top loader and 9-inch in them, or because it was a GT. It wasn't. Well, I never expected what's happened, you know, in respect to money. But for me, it's my car, and I drive and I thrash it. And I thrash and I drive it everywhere. Look, you know, the new generation purists, you know, they're like, oh my God, help me, doctor. But the older blokes who know how long I've had the car, and it's always had twin fours or something sticking out of the bonnet. It's always had Simmons, Recaros. They're like, well, Pete, you know, you've had it this long. Like, they get it. You know, I mean, to be fair, the original motor's sitting parked somewhere, and interior-wise, if you take out the Recaros and take you're pretty much back to factory. My dash and my hood lining, the only thing that's been changed is the Recaros and the carpet. The rest of it's still original, unmolested. Dash, everything, never been restored. Nothing. Steering wheel underneath is original in that, you know, there's been no changes to the chassis. So really, it's a motor, gearbox, and some seats away from being restored. Maybe not to the purest level, but to the average sort of Joe Blow. But I've never been one to stay in the left lane, so we're staying away it is while I'm breathing anyway. I drive it religiously. Like I'll drive it 2 or 3 times a week. Because we live over here, it's easy to get in it and just go down the Wakehurst Parkway, chuck a U-turn down at Narrabeen and come back. That's a 20-30 minute run, but it's open road and it's good. But yeah, I'll go bridge to bridge, I call it, you know, so I'll go Split Bridge, Harbour Bridge, Gladesville Bridge, Iron Cove Bridge, Gladesville Bridge, Lane Cove Bridge, Roseville Bridge. That's a midnight run for me, on my own. I tend to like to drive it on my own. Even my missus, she's like, I'm going, yeah. I've taken off on her a few times. She was not happy chappy, let me tell you. But it's me and my car, you know, a couple of smokes.
So how does it behave in traffic?
This car is quite unique. Like, it'll sit in traffic for hours. Like, my parents live south, so I will use the M5 religiously. Like, this has been sitting in an hour and a half of tunnel traffic, and it gets to about a third. It's never seen a half, this car. I don't know, it's got a factory radiator in it. It's got twin AU XR8 thermos. I don't know if it's a big hole in the bonnet or what it is, but you know, it's not like 1,000 horsepower, right, to be fair, but it enjoys the traffic. It doesn't, nothing at all. Idles, 11, 1200, brr, just sits there puttering along, no issues. Unique, I reckon, anyway. Now, in 6 years, one defect, and it was not a local. It was a young lady who was brought down for Australia Day about 3 years ago. I was about 500 metres from home. She didn't know the car. I wasn't giving it any, but it was making noise going up the hill where I live there, and she was not merciful. She gave me a yellow, not a red. But that's the only one I've ever had. I've had plenty of photos. I do try to be respectful on the road, so, you know, the local lads here know me. You know, I've been pulled over and breath tested. I've been pulled over and asked, why am I doing 50 and a 60? You know, sometimes we have that reverse thing going, because, you know, last thing, if they see you doing something wrong, you're gone. So just take it easy and, you know, pick your mark, I suppose. It's a Hercules competition engine built by Ned. It's a 383 stroker. This motor, I just want to say, is about, I think it's nudging 15 years now, so it's a 15-year-old motor, right? It's clocked over 23,000 Ks. No rings, no bearings. As you see it, that's the first blower belt to go on this car. I just want you to know, that blower belt's done over 20,000 Ks, right? True story, right? But yeah, it's a 383 stroker. Eagle crank, I don't know a lot, right? I'm not that mechanically minded, but I know it's got the genuine HO4V heads on it. I bought them back in 1992 from an old bloke called Gary Coleman. Gary, how you going? Yeah, so the genuine HO heads, cast iron, no aluminium cans here. It's a 671 BDS, twin 750s, running on pump gas every day, just 98, doesn't matter, Caltex, BP. I'm not a big believer in that. Like, whoever's got the cheapest fuel does me. About 715, I think it is, horsepower we made. And then he swapped the pulleys over on the dyno. This is swapped the top and bottom pulley over, and gave it a little drink of some other special fuel, and he clocked up 930 or something. And again, that wasn't like trying to set new world records. I've never driven it at 930. 700 is plenty for me. It does everything I wanted to do. It's got a Tremec TKO in it. It's got the 411s in the back with the 31 spline Mark Williams axles. True track. Good, does everything. I used to have a locker in it, and when I had Falcons on it, it didn't matter because they were not a good tyre. Sorry, Falcon, because I used to actually break traction. But as soon as I went to the Continentals, every time you turn, it was like somebody hitting you in the arse with a sledgehammer. So I had to put a True Track in it. It cost me a bomb. I had to change the whole friggin' setup and that to get it done. But anyway, yeah, so that's it. Look, only because it's 2019, I won't lie, I like the look of the black injector hat and like all that to be black. I do like, especially with the black, like I sort of see it, it looked quite smart. But the thing is, right, when you open up in third gear, 8 barrels, I don't care about your injector hat, mate. Don't tell me it sounds like this. This thing's like sucking in birds out of the sky. You know what I mean? It's a completely different animal. You know, it might not be as pedantic and that, or whatever, tuned, or might be losing some horsepower. But yeah, I reckon carby's a carby. When those throttles open up, those butterflies, it's like, as the wogs say, ramiseta. Well, there's 2 people I'd like to thank. First one, most importantly, I hate to say this, is Ned. He's looked after this car since day one. He's babysat it, done all my motors, kept it going, underspent. Even if I wanted to overspend, he would underspend. As a nut, you don't need that because you don't race, you know, so that makes sense, right? And my missus, never buckled. Like, as soon as the car, yep, no worries, go and get it done. And there's been times when I've even considered selling it. Someone's tapped me on the shoulder and offered me good money, and I was ready to take the money, to be honest. You know, we're going back a few years, but still I was ready to take the money. And she was like, no chance, in my name, I'm not signing nothing. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, so they're the only 2 people really. Everyone else got paid whatever they wanted to get paid. Yeah. Hey, my name's Peter, this is my GT Falcon, and you're watching Killer Rides.